ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಎವರಿಬಡಿ. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ರಾಜೇಶ್ ಎಸ್ ರಾಜಘಟ್ಟ, ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್, ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್, ದೊಡ್ಡಬಳ್ಳಾಪುರ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ರೂರಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್. During the journey of learning ratio analysis, we have already completed 5 sessions which covers introductory part of ratio analysis, accounting ratios, categorization of various ratios under different heads, and some conceptual knowledge about different types of ratios. And here and there we have solved some simple problems on various ratios. In this 6th session, I hope you are going to learn how to solve problems, comprehensive problems under ratio analysis. For better learning, please have a notebook, a pen and calculator with you so that you can write down the problems by pausing the video and work out on your own to get a hands-on experience. Let us have a list of ratios and their formulae for quick reference over here. If you want these ratios to be written down in your notes or somewhere, you pause, you stop the video and write down all the ratios. These are all already discussed during all the previous 5 sessions. Pause it, stop this video and write down if required. Here also pause or stop the video and write down if required. All these ratios have been discussed already. Next, coming to problem number 1. The following is the trading and profit and loss account and balance sheet of Surya Limited. Trading and profit and loss account for the year ending 31st March 2019 is given, where on the debit side, opening stock purchases, gross profit. Credit side, sales and closing stock are given in trading account. And gross profit has been brought down into profit and loss account. And administrative expenses, selling expenses, interest have been charged in profit and loss account, and net result is net profit rupees 40,000 is given. Balance sheet is also given, liability side and asset side. Share capital, profit and loss account, creditors, bills payable are given. On the asset side, land and buildings, plant and machinery, furniture, stock, debtors, bills receivable, cash at a bank are given. Again, you can pause here and write down the problem. Stop the video, write down and then proceed. From the above statements, calculate gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, operating ratio, operating profit ratio, current ratio, liquid ratio, inventory turnover ratio, proprietary ratio, working capital turnover ratio, and fixed assets turnover ratio. Let us solve this. Before going to solve these type of problems, you must have some knowledge about what are current assets, what are current liabilities, what are fixed assets, what are long-term liabilities, and what items comes under shareholders funds, what items comes under capital employed, what items comes under equity shareholders funds, etc. Without knowledge about these things, it will become a difficult task to solve ratio analysis problems. Okay, first one, gross profit ratio. We have already given, we have learned about gross profit ratio. It is given as gross profit divided by net sales into 100. In the problem, gross profit is given, net sales is also given. Substitute the items, rupees 1 lakh divided by rupees 2 lakhs into 100, which amounts to 50%. Gross profit ratio is 50%. Next one, net profit ratio. The ratio is given as net profit divided by net sales into 100. Net profit means net profit after tax, but in this case after tax information is not given, therefore given net profit is taken into the formula. Net profit is rupees 40,000 divided by net sales rupees 2 lakhs into 100, which works out to 20%. Next one is operating ratio. It is also termed as operating cost ratio. The formula is operating cost divided by net sales into 100. Find out operating cost. It is not given directly. Operating cost equals to cost of goods sold plus operating expenses. We don't know what is cost of goods sold. Therefore, work out cost of goods sold, establishing relationship between sales minus gross profit, or opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. But sales minus gross profit we can apply here easily. Therefore, rupees 2 lakh sales minus rupees 1 lakh gross profit, which amounts to rupees 1 lakh. Cost of goods sold is rupees 1 lakh. Then operating expenses. There are two operating expenses in the problem: administrative expenses and selling expenses. Write down their amounts. Rupees 30,000 plus rupees 20,000 equals to rupees 50,000. Now substitute this cost of goods sold and operating expenses into operating cost relationship. Therefore, operating cost equals to rupees 1 lakh cost of goods sold plus rupees 50,000 operating expenses equals to rupees 1,50,000. Operating cost equals to 1,50,000. Now we know what is the amount of operating cost and net sales. Substitute these items into operating ratio. Operating ratio equals to 1,50,000 operating cost divided by net sales 2 lakhs into 100. Calculate. It will be 75%. Next, operating profit ratio. The ratio is given as operating profit divided by net sales into 100. We don't know what is the amount of operating profit. So find out it as sales minus operating costs. Sales is rupees 2 lakhs minus operating costs as we computed for the previous ratio, rupees 1,50,000. Operating profit is rupees 50,000. Substitute it into operating profit ratio. Rupees 50,000 divided by net sales rupees 2 lakhs into 100 equals to 25%. You can observe here operating profit ratio is 25% and operating cost ratio is 75%. If we add them up, 75% and 25%, it will be 100%. It amounts to sales. Okay. Next one is current ratio. Current ratio formula is current assets divided by current liabilities. Find out current assets and current liabilities from the given information problem. Current assets are stock 30,000, debtors 30,000, bills receivables 25,000, cash at bank 35,000. Total of current assets will be 1,20,000. Okay. Then current liabilities. There are only two current liabilities in the problem, creditors and bills payable. Add them up, 45,000 plus 35,000 equals to 80,000. Now we have amounts of current assets and current liabilities. Substitute them into current ratio formula. Rupees 1,20,000 divided by rupees 80,000. Calculate equals to 1.5:1. Next is liquid ratio. The formula is liquid assets divided by current liabilities. First find out amount of liquid assets. We know that liquid assets equals to current assets minus stock minus prepaid expenses is also there, but in this problem prepaid expenses are not given. Therefore, we have taken current assets minus stock. Rupees current assets as calculated for previous ratio, 1,20,000 minus stock 30,000. It will be rupees 90,000. Liquid assets are 90,000. Substitute them into the formula. Rupees 90,000 divided by current liabilities rupees 80,000. Calculate. It will be 1.125:1. You can also calculate liquid assets as directly as leaving stock from current assets. Next ratio is inventory turnover ratio. It is given as cost of goods sold divided by average stock. Cost of goods sold information is already known to us. We have to calculate average stock. Average stock is given as opening stock plus closing stock whole divided by 2. Substitute the values of opening stock and closing stock, add them up and divide it by 2. You will get average stock as rupees 25,000. Now substitute cost of goods sold and average stock into inventory turnover ratio. Rupees 1 lakh cost of goods sold divided by average stock 25,000. It will be 4 times. Inventory turnover ratio is 4 times. Next ratio asked is proprietary ratio. It is given as shareholders funds divided by total assets. In this case, shareholders funds include share capital plus profit and loss account. Other information like reserves, preference share capital, fictitious assets, non-business assets are not given. Therefore, only share capital and profit and loss account is given, therefore we have taken those two items only. 2 lakhs plus 40,000 equals to 2,40,000. Total assets 3,20,000 total of the balance sheet. And keep in mind there are no other fictitious assets, non-business assets like preliminary expenses, miscellaneous expenses like that. If those preliminary expenses, miscellaneous expenditure, etc. are there, we have to deduct them from total assets and also from shareholders' funds. So those items are not given here. Therefore, directly we can take the shareholders' funds and total assets into proprietary ratio. To find out proprietary ratio, 2,40,000 divided by 3,20,000 equals to 0.75. Next ratio asked is working capital turnover ratio. It is given as cost of goods sold divided by net working capital. While discussing the formula, it was given as cost of goods sold divided by average working capital. But in this problem, we cannot find out average working capital because of non-availability of opening working capital. Therefore, the available net working capital has been taken to calculate this ratio. Net working capital equals to current assets minus current liabilities. Current assets already computed, current liabilities are also computed for current ratio. So substitute them. Rupees 1,20,000 minus rupees 80,000 equals to rupees 40,000. Cost of goods sold information we know. Working capital turnover ratio therefore equals to rupees 1 lakh divided by rupees 40,000, which works out to 2.5 times. Next ratio is fixed assets turnover ratio. It is given as cost of goods sold divided by net fixed assets. Net fixed assets are fixed assets given in this problem include land and buildings, plant and machinery, and furniture. Write down their amounts. 1 lakh rupees land and buildings, 60,000 rupees plant and machinery, 40,000 rupees furniture. Total amounts to rupees 2 lakhs. Substitute them into the formula, fixed assets turnover ratio formula. 1 lakh divided by 2 lakhs equals to 0.5 times. Problem number 2. The following are the summarized balance sheet and profit and loss account of ABC Limited. Analyze the financial position of the company from the viewpoint of liquidity, solvency, profitability, and activity. Balance sheet and statement of profit is given. Write down them by pausing, by stopping the video, and then proceed. In this problem, it is asked to analyze the financial position of the concern on the basis of liquidity, solvency, profitability, and activity. That means we have to calculate various ratios which comes under liquidity ratios, solvency ratios, profitability ratios, turnover ratios. Let us start with liquidity ratios. First liquidity ratio is current ratio. It is given as current assets divided by current liabilities. Find out current assets and current liabilities. Cash, sundry debtors, temporary investments, stock and prepaid expenses amounts to 28,65,000. Current liabilities are directly given in the problem, therefore no need to calculate them. Current ratio works out to rupees 28,65,000 current assets divided by rupees 8 lakhs current liabilities equals to 3.58:1. Next liquidity ratio is liquid ratio or acid test ratio or quick ratio. It is given as liquid assets divided by current liabilities. Find out liquid assets. Liquid assets equals to current assets minus stock minus prepaid expenses. In this case, prepaid expenses are given. So substituting the values, 28,65,000 minus 20 lakhs stock minus 15,000 prepaid expenses, it amounts to 8,50,000. Liquid assets are 8,50,000. One more way of finding liquid assets, directly leave stock and prepaid expenses and add other current assets. That is, liquid assets equals to current cash plus sundry debtors plus in temporary investments. That means rupees 2 lakhs cash plus 5 lakhs sundry debtors plus 1,50,000 temporary investments. Again, it works out to rupees 8,50,000. We know the amount of current liabilities. Substitute them. Liquid ratio equals to rupees 8,50,000 divided by rupees 8 lakhs equals to 1.0625:1. Next liquidity ratio is absolute liquid ratio. The formula is absolute liquid assets divided by current liabilities. Current liabilities are given in the problem directly. Absolute liquid assets are cash plus temporary investments. Cash is given as 2 lakhs and temporary investments are 1,50,000. Therefore, absolute liquid assets in the problem is rupees 3,50,000. Now substitute the values into absolute liquid ratio. Rupees 3,50,000 divided by rupees 8 lakhs equals to 0.4375:1. These are the three liquidity ratios. Let us analyze and interpret about these three things at the end. Next category asked in the problem is solvency ratios. I am taking debt equity ratio as the first solvency ratio. Debt equity ratio is given as debt divided by equity, or outsiders funds divided by shareholders funds, or external equities divided by internal equities. So whatever any formula can be used here. I am solving this as from the point of view of long-term solvency. Therefore, current liabilities are not included in debt. Equity or shareholders funds equals to, as given in the problem, share capital plus retained earnings. Other items are not given, therefore we are not considering them. Rupees 30 lakhs share capital plus 9,65,000 retained earnings amounts to rupees 39,65,000. Debt is given as long-term loans, rupees 16 lakhs. Therefore, we are taking directly 16 lakhs as debt here, and divided by 39,65,000 equals to 0.403. Next solvency ratio is proprietary ratio. The ratio is given as shareholders funds divided by total assets. Shareholders funds, it is already calculated in the previous ratio. Total assets are total of the balance sheet, as fictitious assets like preliminary expenses, miscellaneous expenditure, etc. are not given. Therefore, we can take total of the balance sheet, that is asset side total of the balance sheet, as total assets. Therefore, 39,65,000 divided by 63,65,000 works out to 0.63. Proprietary ratio is 0.63. Next solvency ratio is fixed assets ratio. It is given as net fixed assets divided by capital employed. Capital employed equals to shareholders funds and long-term loans in the given problem. Therefore, 39,65,000 plus 16 lakhs amounts to rupees 55,65,000. Total capital employed is 55,65,000. Then fixed assets ratio can be calculated as follows: 35 lakhs as given in the problem, fixed assets amount divided by 55,65,000 equals to 0.629 or 63 is the fixed assets ratio. Next, solvency ratio. While discussing this ratio, interest coverage ratio, we added it under investment ratio, and it was also told that some authors add this ratio under solvency ratio. Therefore, we are profitability ratio or solvency ratio. Therefore, we are adding it here. Interest coverage ratio is given as operating profit divided by interest. Operating profit, profit before interest and tax, PBIT. Problem says profit before tax and interest. Two items are given separately. Therefore, 18,50,000 plus rupees 1,50,000 amounts to rupees 20 lakhs. Then interest coverage ratio is given as rupees 20 lakhs divided by 1,50,000 interest amount, which works out to 13.33 times. Next category is profitability ratios, under which first one is gross profit ratio. The ratio is given as gross profit divided by net sales into 100. Gross profit as per the statement profit and loss account, it is given as rupees 20 lakhs. Sales is also available in profit and loss statement, rupees 50 lakhs into 100, which works out to 40%. 20 lakhs divided by 50 lakhs into 100, 40%. Second ratio is profitability ratio is net profit ratio, which is given as net profit divided by net sales into 100. Net profit as given in the problem 9,25,000 divided by sales rupees 50 lakhs into 100 equals to 18.5%. Next one, profitability ratio is return on investment. It is given as operating profit divided by capital employed into 100. Operating profit as already computed rupees 20 lakhs divided by capital employed is also computed 55,65,000 into 100 equals to 35.94%. Operating profit here means profit before interest and tax. These are the three important profitability ratio. Next one is activity ratios. Debtors turnover ratio. It is given as net annual credit sales divided by average debtors, but those information are not given in the problem. Therefore, sales divided by debtors is taken as the formula for finding out debtors turnover ratio. Sales is rupees 50 lakhs, debtors are given as 5 lakhs in the balance sheet. So it amounts to 10 times. Keep in mind, credit sales information is not available. Opening debtors balance is not available. Therefore, available information sales and debtors, closing debtors is taken to compute this ratio. Next is stock turnover ratio. It is given as cost of goods sold divided by average stock normally, but here for finding out average stock, opening stock is not available. Therefore, we are taking cost of goods sold as 30 lakhs and stock rupees 20 lakhs, which works out to 1.5 times. Next one is total assets turnover ratio. It is equal to sales divided by total assets. Total assets turnover ratio normally will be cost of goods sold divided by total assets. Here it is taken as sales divided by total assets. You can also solve it as cost of goods sold divided by total assets. 50 lakhs divided by 63,65,000 equals to 0.78 times. Next one is working capital turnover ratio. Cost of goods sold divided by working capital. Working capital equals to current assets minus current liabilities. 28,65,000 minus 8 lakhs works out to 20,65,000. Cost of goods sold 30 lakhs divided by 20,65,000 equals to 1.453 times. So in case of total assets turnover ratio, once again I am clarifying here. It can also, instead of sales, you can also take cost of goods sold to find out total assets turnover ratio. Comments. First comment about the liquidity ratios. The current ratio of 3.58:1 is more than the ideal ratio of 2:1. Normally 2:1 is taken as rule of thumb for current ratio. Therefore, comparing with that 2:1, 3.58 is more than the 2:1. This is because the company is holding huge stocks. Stock portion is more in current assets proportion. Then the company's liquid ratio of 1.06 is near to ideal one, that is 1:1. Therefore, company's liquidity position seems satisfactory. Second one, debt proportion. Coming to solvency ratios, debt proportion to shareholders funds is 0.403, that works out to 40%. If we measure it in percentage form, it works out to 40%, which indicates financially less risk to owners and outside investors. The company seems to be in satisfactory position to pay regular interest, as interest coverage ratio is 13 times. Proprietary ratio is satisfactory since it is showing 0.63 of fixed assets. Then overall solvency position of the company is satisfactory. Profitability ratios are also showing a satisfactory position. Then lastly, the turnover ratios. Because of huge stock position, the stock turnover ratio and total assets turnover ratio do not represent a satisfactory performance. Overall, we can say that the financial position of this ABC Limited is satisfactory. So here, while writing comments, you should compare the calculated ratios with some ideal one if ideal ratios are there. Otherwise, you can comment on the basis of calculated ratios, keeping in view the company's overall position. This is a suggestive comment given over here. There may be other elaborated comments also. Problem number 3. Following is the extracted information from the financial statements of Apex Company Limited as at 31st March 2019. The information is given. Go through them. Write down if necessary. If you are writing down, write down by pausing the video. From the statement, calculate current ratio, liquid ratio, return on capital employed, long-term debt equity ratio, earnings per share, and shareholders funds to total assets is given. Okay. First one, current ratio. It is given as current assets divided by current liabilities. Current assets include inventories plus trade receivables plus cash and cash equivalents from the problem. Therefore, rupees 8 lakhs plus rupees 2,25,000 plus rupees 1,75,000 amounts to rupees 12 lakhs. Then current liabilities are given as trade payables and short-term provisions. Therefore, 5 lakhs plus 3 lakhs equals to 8 lakhs. Substitute these two values into current ratio. Current ratio equals to rupees 12 lakhs divided by rupees 8 lakhs equals to 1.5:1. Next one, current liquid ratio. Liquid assets divided by current liabilities is the formula. Liquid assets equals to current assets minus stock. 12 lakhs minus 8 lakhs equals to 4 lakhs. Or you can also add trade receivables and cash equivalents to find liquid assets. So it also works out to 4 lakhs. Now substitute the values of liquid assets and current liabilities. 4 lakhs divided by 8 lakhs equals to 0.5:1. Liquid ratio is 0.5:1. Then return on investment or return on capital employed is given as operating profit or profit before interest and tax divided by capital employed into 100. Capital employed is calculated as equity share capital plus preference share capital plus reserves and surplus plus secured debentures as given in the problem. So rupees 16 lakhs, rupees 5 lakhs, rupees 3 lakhs plus 6 lakhs is the amount of equity share capital, preference share capital, reserves and surplus and secured debentures respectively. totaling them up equals to rupees 30 lakhs. Then operating profit is given in the problem as 9 lakhs divided by 30 lakhs into 100 works out to 30%. Next one is long-term debt equity ratio, or simply debt equity ratio is given as long-term debt divided by equity. Equity here means shareholders funds, equity share capital plus preference share capital plus reserves and surplus. From capital employed, secured debentures have been excluded to find out shareholders funds. Secured debentures are outsiders funds, therefore it should be excluded while calculating equity or shareholders funds. It is amount are given equity share capital rupees 16 lakhs, rupees 5 lakhs preference share capital plus 3 lakhs reserves and surplus equals to rupees 24 lakhs. Debt equity ratio, therefore, long term debt rupees 6 lakhs, that is secured debentures rupees 6 lakhs divided by 24 lakhs equity equals to 0.25 is to 1 or 0.25 we can write. Next one is earnings per share. It is given as PBIT, profit before interest and tax, minus interest minus tax minus preference dividend divided by number of equity shares, or amount or profit available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. Here profit before interest and tax is given as 9 lakhs minus interest 54,000 minus tax given 72,000 minus 40,000 preference dividend divided by 1,60,000 equity shares. How this 1,60,000? 16 lakhs equity share capital of rupees 10 each. Therefore, 16 lakhs divided by rupees 10 equals to 1,60,000. How that interest and preference dividend is calculated? Now let us see it. Interest, it is given 9% secured debentures of rupees 6 lakhs. Therefore, 9% interest will be paid on rupees 6 lakhs per annum. Therefore, 9% of 6 lakhs amounts to rupees 54,000. Similarly, preference capital is given as 8% preference capital of rupees 5 lakhs. That means 8% dividend will be paid on rupees 5 lakhs. It amounts to rupees 40,000. These two items are taken in the numerator. 9 lakhs minus 54,000 minus 72,000 minus 40,000. 72,000 is given in the problem. Tax information is given in the problem. So solving this, rupees 7,34,000 divided by 1,60,000 shares equals to rupees 4.5875 per equity share. So earnings per share is 4 rupees 59 paise. Okay. Then next one is shareholders funds to total assets ratio. It is given as shareholders funds divided by total assets. Total assets here, fixed assets plus current assets. Other fictitious assets and other things are not given. Therefore, we can take it as fixed assets plus current assets. So 25 lakhs plus 12 lakhs equals to rupees 37 lakhs. So 24 lakhs is the shareholders funds as computed in the previous case, divided by 37 lakhs total assets. It works out to 0.648. Problem number 4. Following is the summarized balance sheet of Ganesh Limited as on 31st December 2019. Balance sheet is given, modern balance sheet, equity and liabilities. Under that shareholders funds, under that equity share capital, 8% preference share capital, reserves and surplus. Non-current liabilities, that is long-term liabilities, long-term borrowings. Under that we have 9% secured debentures. Current liabilities, trade payables and short-term provisions are given. And then in assets, non-current assets, under that fixed assets are given. Under fixed assets, tangible assets and intangible assets are given. Non-current investments are given as 9 lakhs. Current assets are given, inventories, trade, receivables, cash and cash equivalents. If this is the type of balance sheet, I think in my opinion, it is easy to group various items. Like for example, current assets, you can easily group them as inventories plus trade receivables plus cash and cash equivalents. Current liabilities, trade payables plus short-term provisions. Like that, it will become easier for you to calculate the ratios. So from this information, and it is given profit before interest and tax for the period amounted to rupees 18 lakhs. So calculate current ratio, liquid ratio, return on investment, proprietary ratio, debt equity ratio. The first ratio is current ratio, that is current assets divided by current liabilities. Find out current assets. Current assets include inventories, trade receivables, and cash equivalents. Rupees 15 lakhs plus rupees 4 lakh 50,000 plus 3 lakh 50,000. It amounts to rupees 23 lakhs. Then find out current liabilities amount total. Trade payables plus short-term provisions. It amounts to rupees 10 lakhs plus rupees 6 lakhs equals to 16 lakhs. Substitute these two values into current ratio. Rupees 23 lakhs divided by 16 lakhs, which works out to 1.4375:1. Next ratio asked is liquid ratio. It is given as liquid assets divided by current liabilities. We know the amount of current liabilities. Let us find out liquid assets. Liquid assets equals to trade receivables plus cash and cash equivalents, excluding inventories. That is rupees 4 lakh 50,000 trade receivables plus cash and cash equivalents rupees 3 lakh 50,000, which amounts to rupees 8 lakhs. Substitute the values. Liquid assets rupees 8 lakhs, current liabilities rupees 16 lakhs. It amounts to rupees, it works out to 0.50:1. Next ratio is return on investment or return on capital employed. The ratio is given as profit before interest and tax divided by capital employed into 100. Profit before interest and tax is given in the problem. Let us compute capital employed. It is the sum of shareholders' funds and non-current liabilities, insiders' funds and outsiders' funds, that is long-term funds. Shareholders' funds include equity share capital plus preference share capital plus reserves and surplus. Substituting the amounts, rupees 36 lakhs plus rupees 15 lakhs plus 6 lakhs equals to 57 lakhs. We have shareholders' funds 57 lakhs and non-current liabilities given in the problem 12 lakhs. Adding them up, capital employed equals to rupees 69 lakhs. Substitute this 69 lakhs and profit before interest and tax into the ROI formula. Rupees 18 lakhs divided by 69 lakhs into 100. It amounts to 26.09%. ROI is 26.09%. Next ratio is proprietary ratio. It is given as shareholders' funds divided by total assets. Shareholders' funds, as it is calculated above, 57 lakhs divided by total of the assets in the problem 85 lakhs, because there are no fictitious assets and non-business assets. Therefore, total of asset side is taken over here. 57 lakhs divided by 85 lakhs equals to 0.67. Next one is debt equity ratio. It is given as long-term loans divided by shareholders' funds. Long-term loans as given in the problem rupees 12 lakhs divided by shareholders' funds 57 lakhs as computed above equals to 0.21. Debt equity ratio is 0.21. Problem number 5. Balance sheet of Abhi Limited is given. Go through it. Pause the video, stop the video, write down if necessary, and then proceed. Observe the balance sheet. On the asset side, preliminary expenses are given. They are fictitious assets. On the liability side, profit and loss account is bifurcated as previous balance and current year balance. So current year profit is rupees 1 lakh and previous balance was 5,000. The other things are normal things. So from this we are asked to calculate current ratio, liquid ratio, net working capital, fixed assets to net worth ratio, debt equity ratio, return on capital employed, return on equity, and proprietary ratio. Solution: current ratio, as usual, current assets divided by current liabilities. Current assets include three items: stock, bills receivable, and cash. It amounts to 2,77,500. Current liabilities amounts to 1,75,000, which includes creditors plus bills payable plus provision for tax. Substituting these two items, 2,77,500 divided by 1,75,000, current ratio is 1.586:1. Next one, liquid ratio, liquid assets divided by current liabilities. Liquid assets equals to current assets minus stock or bills receivable plus cash. It amounts to 1,27,500. Substitute them, 1,27,500 divided by 1,75,000 equals to 0.728:1. Next ratio is net working capital. Remember, see here, it is not net working capital ratio, it is only net working capital. So net working capital is given as current assets minus current liabilities. Current assets rupees 2,77,500 minus current liabilities 1,75,000 equals to 1,02,500 rupees is the net working capital. Next ratio is fixed assets to net worth ratio. It is given as fixed assets divided by shareholders funds or net worth. Let us compute total fixed assets. There are 4 fixed assets here. Investments are also treated as long-term investments, therefore added in fixed assets. Land and buildings rupees 2 lakhs, plant and machinery rupees 1 lakh, furniture rupees 1,37,500, investments 1,25,000, amounts to 5,62,500. Similarly, find out shareholders funds. Shareholders funds include equity share capital rupees 3 lakhs, general reserve rupees 1,75,000, dividend equalization reserve, it also belongs to shareholders, therefore added here 25,000 plus profit and loss account 1,05,000. From this fictitious asset, that is preliminary expenses, has to be deducted. Therefore 40,000 has been subtracted from 6,05,000 to get shareholders funds 5,65,000. So I think you got cleared about how to treat fictitious assets. Okay, now substitute the items into the formula. 5,62,500 divided by 5,65,000, it amounts to 0.995. Next one is debt equity ratio. Debt divided by equity, or outsiders funds divided by insiders funds, or net worth is the formula. Debt here in this problem consists of 2 items, debentures and long-term loans. Add them up, rupees 80,000 plus rupees 20,000 equals to rupees 1 lakh. Substitute them, rupees 1 lakh divided by 5,65,000, it works out to 0.177. So the company is having a very meager loan, very less risk, financial risk, because the debt equity ratio is very low, 0.177. Next ratio is return on investment or return on capital employed. It is given as operating profit or PBIT or EBIT. EBIT means earnings before interest and tax divided by total capital employed into 100. In the problem, it is given current year profit and provision for tax is also given. Therefore, adding them up, current year profit plus provision for tax, it works out to 1 lakh plus 25,000. We are here ignoring interest payable on long-term loans. If interest is also considered, it will be a different show. So 1,25,000 is the net profit before interest and tax. Capital employed, you can use this relationship, or we can also compute it as equity plus debt. Equity is 5,65,000, debt is 1 lakh equals to 6,65,000. Or it can also be computed like this: equity share capital plus debentures plus long-term loans plus general reserve plus dividend equalization reserve plus profit and loss account 7,05,000 minus preliminary expenses 40,000. It amounts to 6,65,000 as capital employed. So capital employed can also be computed as equity plus debt. Equity, as we have computed for the previous ratio, debt equity ratio, equity amounted to rupees 5,65,000 and debt 1 lakh, therefore it equals to 6,65,000. Therefore, ROI or ROCE equals to 1,25,000 divided by 6,65,000 into 100 equals to 18.8%. Return on net worth ratio, it is given as net profit after tax divided by shareholders funds. Net worth here means equity or shareholders funds into 100. So net profit after tax is 1 lakh as given in the problem, divided by 5,65,000 shareholders funds into 100 equals to 17.7%. Next one is proprietary ratio. It is given as shareholders funds divided by total assets. So from total assets we have to deduct fictitious assets. Preliminary expenses have to be subtracted. Therefore 5,65,000 divided by 8,40,000 equals to 0.67. After deducting preliminary expenses, we get total assets as 8,40,000. So proprietary ratio works out to 0.6. Next, problem number 6. Following is the statement of profit and loss of R Limited. Calculate gross profit ratio, operating profit ratio, net profit ratio, and inventory turnover ratio. Following statement of profit and loss is given as per the Companies Act of 2013. So new format of profit and loss statement. So observe the problem, observe the statement, and then try to solve the ratios. So if required, pause the video, stop the video, write down the problem, then proceed. First ratio, gross profit ratio, it is given as gross profit divided by revenue from operations into 100. Instead of net sales, as per new profit and loss statement, revenue from operations has to be taken here. So gross profit equals to revenue from operations minus cost of revenue from operations. So previously we were doing like sales minus cost of goods sold, but here the terms have been changed. Revenue from operations minus cost of revenue from operations. So cost of revenue from operations, as usual, opening stock plus purchases plus wages plus manufacturing expenses minus closing stock. So rupees 26,000, rupees 1,20,000 plus 40,000 plus 26,000 minus 36,000. Please observe the problem and write down. They are separately given. So it amounts to the cost of revenue from operations equals to 1,76,000. Gross profit here is rupees 2,50,000 revenue from operations minus cost of revenue from operations 1,76,000, which is equal to rupees 74,000. Now substitute the items into gross profit ratio. Rupees 74,000 gross profit divided by revenue from operations 2,50,000 into 100 equals to 29.6%. Gross profit ratio is 29.6%. Next one is operating ratio or operating cost ratio. It is given as operating cost divided by revenue from operations into 100. Operating cost equals to cost of revenue from operations plus operating expenses. So 1,76,000 plus 13,000. Operating expenses are 13,000. So total operating cost equals to 1,89,000. Operating expenses, how we got operating expenses? Selling and distribution expenses plus administration expenses plus general expenses. That is rupees 5,000 plus 6,000 plus 2,000 equals to 13,000. This 13,000 has been taken above. Then operating ratio works out to 1,89,000 divided by 2,50,000 into 100 equals to 75.6%. Operating ratio or operating cost ratio is 75.6%. Next is operating profit ratio. It is given as operating profit divided by revenue from operations into 100. Operating profit equals to revenue from operations minus operating cost. Previously it was sales minus operating cost. Now it is revenue from operations minus operating costs. So revenue from operations rupees 2,50,000 minus operating costs as calculated previously rupees 1,89,000, which is equal to rupees 61,000. Operating profit rupees 61,000. Substitute the items into operating profit ratio. Rupees 61,000 divided by 2,50,000 revenue from operations into 100 equals to 24.4%. Next ratio is net profit ratio. Net profit after tax divided by revenue from operations into 100. So 58,000 divided by 2,50,000 into 100. Net profit is given in the problem. Revenue from operations is also given in the problem. Therefore, net profit ratio is 23.2%. Inventory turnover ratio, as usual, cost of revenue from operations divided by average inventory. Average inventory here, opening inventory plus closing inventory whole divided by 2. That is 26,000 plus 36,000 divided by 2. So opening stock is also given, closing stock also is given. Please observe the problem. So 26,000 plus 36,000 divided by 2, it works out to rupees 31,000. Substituting cost of revenue 1,76,000 divided by 31,000 equals to inventory turnover ratio 5.68 times. That's all for now. I am giving 2 problems to be worked by you on your own. Observe this problem and another problem and solve it on your own. Get confidence and try other problems by referring books and question papers so that you will get confidence to solve any type of problem under ratio analysis. These are all the direct problems wherein items or amounts will be given. On that basis, ratios have to be computed. There are some problems, ratios will be given. We have to construct the statements, profit and loss account and balance sheet. That will be discussed later in the next session if possible. Go through this problem and write down and try to solve the problem. Hints are given. Cost of revenue from operations equals to cost of materials consumed plus wages. So answers are given. If you are getting these answers, your learning is good. Next problem to try on yourself. You have to calculate liquidity ratios, that is current ratio, liquid ratio, absolute liquid ratio, turnover ratios like debtors turnover ratio, stock turnover ratio, etc., working capital turnover ratio, creditors turnover ratio, etc., profitability ratio, gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, return on investment, etc., solvency ratios, debt equity ratio, proprietary ratio, etc., you have to calculate. So if problems are given like this, liquidity, turnover, profitability, solvency, there will always be a confusion as to which ratios have to be computed. I hope these type of problems will not be given for your examination. They will ask directly. If given like this, you have to take the risk and solve important ratios under each category. Okay, so please observe, pause the video, write down the problem and try to solve various problems, various ratios. Balance sheet is also given in addition to that trading and P&L account. Next, last theoretical aspect, advantages of accounting ratios. First advantage is simplifies financial statements. Accounting ratios simplifies the complex and detailed financial statements so that stakeholders will be in a position to decide about the financial health of the business concern. Facilitates inter-firm comparison. This is the beauty of ratio analysis. By preparing different ratios of two or more firms, more companies, we will be in a position to compare them. So financial ratios provide information for inter-firm comparison by highlighting the relative performance. Helps in intra-firm comparison also. Ratios also help in planning and comparison of operational results of various units and departments within the organization. And also it facilitates the vertical analysis of financial statements. Then facilitates management by exception. Management by exception, you might be knowing the concept. So only exceptional matters should be brought into the decision making purview. It says if any exceptional cases are observed while calculating ratios, that will be given importance and taken care of. So higher management can concentrate only at the area where its intervention is necessary. This technique is facilitated by accounting ratios. If ratios are showing a bad performance, then the higher management can intervene and solve it. Limitations of accounting ratios include comparative study required. Ratios themselves do not provide any information. They must compared with some standards or the past results of the same business or with the ratios of competitive firms. Then only we can get full benefit of ratio computed. Ratios are only tool. They are not the end in themselves. They are only tools. On the basis of them, the persons concerned, the authorities concerned, stakeholders concerned have to take their own decisions. Limitations of financial statements. This is the limitation which affects usefulness of accounting ratio very much, because financial statements prepared on the basis of various accounting standards or principles suffers from various limitations themselves. Therefore, taking information from those financial statements and computing ratios will not serve a good purpose. Next is window dressing. Window dressing is a way to show a better or worst financial position as required than what it actually is. If financial statements are window dressed, then accounting ratios calculated based on such statements may not reveal the real financial position. If to show better position, some items may be overvalued or undervalued. In such a case, taking them into account and computing ratios will not serve any purpose. Price level changes also affects the benefit of ratios, because ratios are calculated on the post-mortem reports of financial organizations. Therefore, things are changing every day because of price level changes. They may give misleading results if taken as it is. No standards are there. It is one more limitation. No fixed rule of thumb or standards can be laid down for ratios. Some ratios have rules of thumb, but they are in usage by convention only. So work out and practice more problems on all ratios by referring previous question papers and some good books. Let us meet in part 7 where we can work out some problems, reverse problems. That means ratios will be given, and on that basis financial statements will be constructed. Thank you. Signing out, Rajesh S. Rajgatta.